Hello everyone, it's Finn. This video is part 4 of my 4-part series titled Save One Life. Part 4 is called Pillar of Salt. I will be discussing the consequences of returning to the narcissist. I have had 4 narcissists in my life. I have learned that there is a definite change in our brain chemistry when we live with the narcissist. The change is called peptide addiction. Peptides are chemicals in our brain that make us comfortable, or at least give us the reasonable feeling that we can be content remaining in the abuse. It would be the same as people addicted to heroin and feeling that it's perfectly reasonable to keep the addiction regardless of its harmful physical and mental effects. When we leave the narcissist, the body has no reason to continue to make those peptides that make us feel comfortable living with physical and mental abuse. Peptide withdrawal is a real physical withdrawal. This withdrawal holds the core of the consequences for developing a yearning to return to the addiction of abuse. The consequences are that we feel the absence of the body's release of peptides in our brain. Anytime a human is going through any type of withdrawal, whether it be cigarettes, alcohol, hard drugs, or abuse, they all have one thing in common, and that is the void. There is a void left inside of us as big as an empty hole when we leave any type of addiction. So when we leave the narcissist, we are going to sense that big empty hole inside of us. And if we don't educate ourselves to become wise enough to not return to the abuse and face the consequences of physical and mental withdrawal symptoms, then we are in a 50-50 probability that we will return to the abuse. If we don't keep ourselves busy to replace our loss from our addiction of abuse with activities that engage us physically and mentally, there is a 50-50 probable chance that we will return to the abuse. So there's 2 things right there we need to do. We need to educate ourselves to the reasonable measure that will convince us that we should never ever return. It would not benefit us to return. We also need to involve ourselves in some kind of activity that engages us physically and mentally so that we no longer think about the narcissist or going back to the abuse by them. I call this last section Pillar of Salt because there's a story in the Bible about Lot's wife who wanted to return to a bad situation from her past while she was walking away from it to start a new life with her family. By just looking back and putting her mental focus on her regrets of leaving the abuse, she was turned into a pillar of salt. Think about that image for just a second. If someone is turned into a pillar of salt, they have turned into a salt statue. They are stiff as a pillar of salt. They are stuck in place. They cannot move forward or backward. They cannot breathe, speak, or think enough to say, no, that's not really what I want to do. Imagine that just by feeling one regret, all of your prospects of life have literally left you just an image of what you once were. You are no longer conscious of anything. You're not even asleep. No, you're gone forever. I am presently in my 7th month of my journey of no contact. 2 of my narcissists are dead. I'm free of them forever. My sister is estranged, so I don't have to worry about her. My only child is the narcissist that I left. Not one day goes by that I ever think to return to her. When you have to leave a narcissist and it's your only child, it causes a lot of changes in your belief system. Parental responsibility ends when they become an adult and throw you as the parent to the curbside. Narcissistic abuse is a mental disability that is 100% destructive to all parties involved. Never feel guilty about removing yourself from narcissistic abusive family members. They will suck you dry. They are willing to make you homeless. And they have no regrets about turning your home into a garage or pigsty if you allow them to live with you. Never feel guilty. You see, it's society and its expectation of you to fit into a mold of family order. That's hogwash. Don't you believe it? You have no obligations to people who abuse you, whether family, friend, or foe. Stay away from narcissistic abuse because it's a certain road to destruction. It is always a certain road to destruction. Some narcissists are people who cannot take care of themselves. That is why people say that they discard people in their life. What they're really trying to do is relocate a mother or father figure. They know inside that they cannot take care of themselves, so they look for a caretaker. And when someone that they connect with who is willing to take care of them, they come to a point when they must stop, then the narcissist is left on its own, looking for its mother and father figure again. The narcissist roams this planet like a sniffling lost dog. If someone throws it a bone, well, that's good because the dog will take it. The narcissist will take any handout. But there comes a time when the circle of friends runs out and the dog is left alone, hungry and homeless. After so many times of this, they get the idea that this world is going to take care of them, whether they like it or not. So the narcissist roams the earth with a chip on its shoulder to start an argument, because even negative attention to a narcissist is supply. A narcissist is a seriously messed up person that lives on a subhuman level and brings all its contacts down to a subhuman level because it cannot change and raise up to a dignified and respectful station. A narcissist is what it is. If you are going to go back to a narcissist, then there are some issues that you can fix to make sure it doesn't happen again, should you have the opportunity to get out again. These issues go back to that video about rebuilding. The issues that need to be reconstructed so that you are stronger and independent in this world concern your foundation of integrity. If you're going to be honest, you must first be honest with yourself. You must acknowledge your strengths and your weaknesses and throw away anything that no longer serves you. There are only two coaches that I'm aware of that help people heal from narcissistic abuse by going back to the experiences in childhood. Melanie Tanya Evans and Meredith Miller are two coaches that cover the inner child source of initial trauma and in childhood. By meditation, self-reflection, and cellular detox, they can show you how to clear out the trauma that holds you like a prisoner, unaware to you. You cannot know until you go there. There's no other complete cure and no other teachers that are so adept and qualified to help with complete recovery success from narcissistic trauma. Your core values are also an issue if you go back to the narcissist, because your core values cannot be the narcissist's core values if you left them. When you leave them, this means that you have established yourself as having different values than the narcissist. To build strength, resilience, and the ability to overcome your addiction to the narcissist, you will need to reevaluate your core values that do not serve you. This is just a matter of thought. It's just a matter of choice. You just simply need to choose the values that will serve you best and keep you away from addictions. Your priorities are in the wrong place. If you have children, it is very important for you to take them away from the influence of a narcissist. I learned that lesson the hard way. My child was with my narcissistic mother and my narcissistic sister, and she developed into a narcissist herself, and it was a great disappointment to me. If you are someone without any ties, meaning that it's just you and the narcissist, then it is of the gravest matter to prioritize your self-love. You must love yourself above your attachment to addictions. Self-love is the only guaranteed investment in this lifetime. Get creative. Develop a vision for a better life. Find an activity or group of people that you can be around that are creative so that your mind can elevate itself above the abuse of life that you have right now. You need to understand that life can be better for you. Living life with a narcissist the second time around can be a real battle. A narcissist loves power, and they have seen people abuse power. When you return to a narcissist, you have essentially told them that all of your power has been given to them. That's the wrong message to give to any narcissist. Get those creative juices flowing, and your mind will help you find a way out again. Don't feel bad if you returned. I'm no different. I returned to my narcissistic mother twice. And then she died, and I was free forever. So I can relate to what it's like to become a pillar of salt. It just makes it that much harder to find yourself when it is time for you to recover. The last issue that needs to be strengthened are your boundaries. If you don't like living with your narcissist, then you should get a notebook and start writing down the things that you need to do that perhaps you learned too late in life, and start making changes. No one should have to accept or condone narcissistic abuse. It's just no way to live. Take a good, honest look at your boundaries and write down what they are. If you don't like for people to curse at you, there is one place that you need to establish a boundary. If you don't like getting physically hit, there is a boundary that needs to be written down and established immediately. If you don't like having to bring in more money than the narcissist, you feel it's not 50-50 or equal, there's another boundary you need to establish. Write down all the things that you don't like and that do not serve you, and start establishing a boundary to uphold self-respect, dignity, self-worth, and all of your rights as a human being. The one reason that I'm able to be successful in my recovery is because two of my narcissists in my family are dead. One is estranged, and the other did me so dirty, I felt no hesitation to make the difficult decision to leave my only child, though she is an adult. Narcissistic abuse is a very serious experience to waste on anyone's life. We are all worthy and deserving to live with people that should love us if they're going to bring us into this world, and if they're going to marry us. It's a waste of life. It's wasted years. Fortunately, I'm not the regretful type. I believe that every experience in life has a lesson, and I would much rather take the lesson than the regret. I may be older now, but I'm wiser. And with what time I have left on this planet, I damn sure well am going to enjoy it. I have educated myself, and I know now how to spot the narcissist and avoid the narcissist. I recently had an international convention that I thought was going to be 15,000 people in Houston. And I was told afterwards that it was 50,600 people. And I left. I left town once I saw that marquee on the road that said, "Storm in the Gulf. Fill your tanks. Be prepared." I knew that that was a warning for a hurricane. I left town. I completely avoided 50,000 people, some of which were narcissists that I had known for 9 years. I am so glad and grateful to have avoided having to put my eyes on any one of the narcissists that I once knew. It would have been vulgar to me, abhorrent to look upon them. And that is how I see narcissistic abuse. I love what is good, and I hate what is bad. There will never be an opportunity again for me to turn into a pillar of salt. I know what to do. I know to look straight forward and never look back. Never look back. Until next time, thank you for watching this 4-part series. It has been my great pleasure to bring as much information and personal testimony to help in your recovery and experience of narcissistic abuse. Please like and subscribe with the bell if you are interested. Continue pursuing wisdom. Pursue happiness.